This week on Across the Arrowverse, the Justice League goes dark. Not Damien Dark, but dark as in subject matter and content. It's dark. Justice League Dark. Hi everyone, and welcome to Across the Arrowverse. I'm Matthew Bose.
And I'm Catherine Bose.
This week we have watched the DC animated movie Justice League Dark. Dark. It's so dark.
Dark.
Starring a whole load of people, particularly Matt Ryan, who we have recently seen as Constantine.
Dark.
In this film he plays John Constantine.
A dark character.
John Constantine. Directed by J. Oliver. So DC have brought out a number of animated films over recent years. This is the next in sequence after Justice League versus the Teen Titans.
I've not watched that, have I?
Which I don't think you have, no. Which it was quite good. It was interesting enough, yeah. Continuing on from when they did, a few years ago, they did the Flashpoint Paradox, which is the whole, Barry goes back in time and his mum's not dead, and
okay,
we see what happens from there, which is excellent. Justice League War, which was the start of the new series and new concepts of how they all came together and met each other, and was very good. So this is the next in the series that we've not seen.
And are the Justice League characters in this the one that we've just seen?
Mm-hmm.
Are they essentially the same characterizations?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Same style, same characterization. So it's all, certainly at this point, it was based within the New 52.
Right.
Which is particularly around kind of everything got rebooted.
Okay.
And
so this is rebooted version?
Yes. Yeah. So that's why Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are all styled slightly differently. There's still a bit of learning how to work together and what each other are like and so on. And
is the art style part of that? Is the art done in a similar way amongst all the films?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Variations, but yes, and the looks of it definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, Justice League Dark, this is their introduction of magic to this world that we've not really touched on too much, certainly in the animated films and in the films at large.
Yeah.
We obviously saw a lot with Constantine. We've had it a little bit in the Arrowverse, more with Damien Dark coming in, which was, again, the introduction of Constantine. But magic has never been particularly part of the DC films.
No, and I can see that, because you kind of... It gets a bit confusing if you've got superpowers because of alien races...
That makes sense.
And also magical skills.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing as to, well, are you a superhero because you've studied the right books really hard, or are you a superhero because of things?
Yeah.
I think they pulled it off in this film, but I do think I would be less enthused about a storyline that involved both non-magical villains and magical villains, and too much combination of non-magical superheroes and magicians. I think it could all get a bit over confusing.
Right.
For
For
a cat of very little brain.
Okay, so the big comparison is the way Marvel and the MCU did Doctor Strange. That was a movie that was, okay, we are going to introduce magic.
Yes.
And they very cleverly did it as, exactly as you're saying, you need to study and learn how to do certain things with the metaphysical concept of you.
Yes.
And then you can use some artifacts as well, and that's how you channel it. And what we saw in Constantine is very much the same as that. Knowing the right Latin, having a bit of Achilles' heel and a bit of the cross and all of this stuff, allowed them to do stuff.
Yeah.
How do you think this did as the introduction of magic?
I liked it.
Yeah?
I really did like it. I thought... whether I liked it or whether it was good as the introduction of magic, I guess, are two different questions.
Okay, as a film, you liked it.
As a film, I liked it, yeah. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was the best Constantine... Oh, is it the best? Maybe not the best Constantine film, because I very much like the Keanu Reeves Constantine film. I think of that as something other.
Yes, yeah.
To the rest of the Constantine stuff we've seen.
Adaptation, yeah.
So within the adaptations of Constantine that we've seen, whether it's his own TV series, whether it's him popping up to help them fight Damien Dark, or in this, they seem to be the same Constantine.
Yes.
And I like this version the best because I think you can do the most with him in this version.
Yeah.
And I think his mates are better company than his mates were in the TV series.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. The thing that astounded me about it, which is why I particularly want to ask how you found it, was they did such little explaining of everyone. There were a couple of characters who got some backstories. There was a tangential reference to Newcastle. But by and large, it was, here are some mystical things, deal with it. Yeah. So Zatanna is the one that I'm particularly thinking of. They gave us nothing about her backstory, about the fact she says things backwards to cast spells. She's just an incredibly powerful magician, as shown.
Yeah, and I think if I hadn't had you with me to explain that she was saying things backwards to cast spells, I wouldn't have noticed that's what she was doing.
It's just some
I'd
sort
have
of...
just heard gobbledygook coming out of her mouth, and then she does stuff.
Yeah.
But I was also quite comfortable with that. Didn't really bother me.
Okay.
I suppose the way I'd see it, or the way I saw it, was I was hoping that this might be the start of something more in that world, over which we would get to know more about these people.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Which it might well be. It seems there's been another Constantine animated thing. Right. So I need to try to check that out at some point. But... yeah, it felt like a very good self-contained story. They wouldn't need to do anything more from this. But there was also the comment of, hey, why don't you come and join the Justice League? Which, I cannot see John Constantine in the Justice League.
No,
it just
me either.
Does not feel like a fit.
Absolutely
A little bit like Green Arrow. It works best with the idea of him coming and helping every so often, but as a fully fledged member of the League, monitoring threats on Earth and...
Not his bag.
No. Playing with others and... yeah.
No.
So, it's called Justice League Dark. It was really dark.
Yeah, why did they call it Justice League Dark? Because it wasn't really about the Justice League.
No, I think the concept is this is another version of the League. And I think there might even be a comic called Justice League Dark, which is this sort of grouping of people who are mystical, who aren't necessarily big hitters, but sometimes they need to be able to fight stuff. Again, a bit like Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme. They have that whole, the Avengers take care of things on the physical realm, we take care of other stuff.
Right.
Justice League Dark is the same idea. I'm sure there's even there's an Illuminati version, but that might be Marvel. I might be getting confused. So I think that's what they're trying to do here and set up this idea of an alt Justice League.
Okay.
I don't think that came together.
No.
I think this was just a grouping of people.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't see it as an alternate Justice League whatsoever. I saw it as people who are coincidentally in the same place for this particular romp.
Yeah. But it opens with a woman running people over with her car, a guy who's almost killing his own family with a shotgun and has killed his neighbours, and a woman throwing her baby off a church. And then when Batman saves the baby, she throws herself off the church.
Yeah, this is definitely not a cartoon for children.
No, it opens like I know the woman was running people over thinking they were demons, but even as she's doing that, it was just, wait, the show has already told us these are people, and she's seeing things. This is almost problematic. In a good way, it's, taking it seriously.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think it's showing that the evil that they're fighting is real evil, as opposed to kabam, pow, kazap.
Kabam, kazap.
Like 1960s Adam, what's his face?
Adam West, yeah.
Adam West Batman,
And then as it went on, we had some proper adult themes with the guy who was dying of cancer. And then in the big final fight, it appears he kills Swamp Thing.
Yeah, no one stays dead in these worlds.
They don't, but that was... Swamp Thing is a big player, as we've seen in the last couple of things we've watched.
He is. I think he's a bit underused in this.
Okay.
To me, I'm like, if you're going to bother to bring him in, bring him in.
Yeah.
To me, it's like...
Fair.
I think I probably enjoyed this more because of the other stuff that we've watched in the run-up.
Okay.
So that I already had a bit of familiarity with some of the characters. I'd be interested, and obviously we can't do this, but I'd be interested to consider how I would have enjoyed it and compare how I would have enjoyed it if I'd watched it a year ago with less understanding of some of the wider characters in the Justice League, in the DC universe.
Yeah, because it was nice having certainly the introduction and then the finale that included Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It is always quite enjoyable to see the Trinity on screen.
And there was Cyborg at the table. And there's lots of the people at that table. I was like, oh, I know that one. Don't know who that is. But, I knew a lot more of them than I might have done otherwise. And Swamp Thing was not an unfamiliar concept to me. And, I think it was good fun.
I do have to give a shout out because we always quite enjoy her Wonder Woman played by Rosario Dawson.
Was she?
Yeah, she is one of the modern voices for the characters, so always nice to see her.
Not enough, then.
No, but...
but there wasn't a place for her in this one.
Yeah, no. So the rest of the Justice League Dark included Deadman.
Which one was that?
Who was the one who took people over.
Oh, the one that was a circus performer that got shot halfway. Yeah.
Another trapeze artist who got killed whilst on the trapeze.
He seemed a little ineffectual, but I wondered if he was there to add a little bit of levity to proceedings. Yes,
very much. He almost felt pointless, except for the comedy, and then the fact that he's the one that they used to beat them at the end.
Yes.
Beat Destiny.
Yes.
We had Orchid. Was it Orchid? The house come to life.
Again, I feel that this felt... so this felt to me like the start of a series.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see how that could be a really interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
Totally underused in this particular instance. Yeah. Like, she was there for the friend to get his hands on the magical artifact because of the way that Constantine had given her instructions to do anything.
Do everything he asks. Yeah,
I thought when that sort of wording was there, I was like, oh, this is gonna turn into something interesting, and it did. But I think she was an interesting concept, could have been used more. Although we have seen that before with the ship and Legends of Tomorrow. It's not entirely different to that.
That's very fair. Yeah. So the friend, Richie, like I say, it was fairly adult that, he's dying of cancer and there's these wraiths outside who are going to take him away. Like, oh, this is quite dark, if I may say so.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand what had happened to give him magical cancer. Sorry.
I don't think they filled it in. If I'm honest, it sounded like he and Constantine had done a thing. He'd ended up with that, like, as the outcome, and Constantine hadn't. But I don't know, the way it was worded sounded like the fact that he already had Newcastle hanging over his head meant that he wasn't eligible for the... I don't know.
I think they fudged the exposition a little bit there.
Yeah.
And I also think, this guy can't be that good a friend to Constantine if he wasn't willing to talk to him.
No. Yeah.
And let him know a bit of what's going on.
I think they did do that okay, the fact that they weren't on speaking terms. But it does seem, having just watched Constantine, that's the case with all his friends. Yes. There's no one who rocks up who's like, John, I haven't heard from you in ages. Come on in, chap. Have a cup of tea. It's all like, oh, you've got some nerve showing your face here.
Yeah, true. True. Does not play well with others.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because that is the Constantine character.
Which is fine, but we've done that several times.
Yes.
Like, you need to start mixing that up a little bit, maybe. I wonder if they weren't expecting people who watched this to necessarily have watched Constantine. Mostly because I don't think many people watched Constantine in the first place.
And yeah, because it does seem like with Constantine, and this is maybe going back to the series, but he either has friends who are amazingly loyal and attached to him, like Chaz, or ones that are like, you tosser.
Yeah.
And just don't really want to have anything to do with him anymore.
Yeah.
There's no in between. There's no one. There's no Bob who he goes and meets down the pub once a month.
No. And it's a shame for that, but you can also understand, like, they were doing the whole tortured soul thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Richie turns into Destiny. Is it Destiny? Destiny. Played by Alfred Molina. I feel, again, they didn't do well enough setting up that Destiny was super powerful. When Etrigan was telling us... Was it Etrigan or Blood? whichever one was telling us the story of him and Etrigan being merged,
Yeah.
we were supposed to take from that, wow, Destiny was really powerful and it took Etrigan to take him down. I don't think that came across because the focus was so much on the history between Blood and Etrigan.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. I also, but this might have been because maybe my attention dropped for a moment, got a bit confused between Destiny and Faust.
yeah.
When they were fighting Faust, I was like, oh, is this the bad?
Yeah,
bad
it was
guy?
just two big set pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. The set piece with Destiny was not better, but certainly much bigger because it was him in a city and lots of people coming after him and so on, and that was fairly good.
Yep.
But the showdown with Faust was excellent. It was a really good what you want to see from this sort of mystical thing. Spells being fired, different things going on, stuff that's not explainable in the physical world in a big observatory library type setting. Yeah, that's what I want to see from my magical fantasy films.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Good fun. And I think Santana's awesome.
Zatanna.
Yes,
Santana.
Sorry. She can play the guitar and sing smooth at the same time.
She can. She is so smooth. Yeah, I did quite like that she rocks up and then he's cast a spell ready for when she rocks up.
Yes.
A very clever way of doing it.
Yes.
It shows that this is a world that already existed. Not that we're seeing people learn and going, oh, kryptonite does a thing. Now I need to get some kryptonite. They've already got her kryptonite in readiness for when she comes along.
I also quite enjoyed that was teeing us up to understand actually quite how powerful she is, because she was the one that he'd felt the need to prepare against.
Yeah, true.
And B, I like the slight modern aesthetic that the bad guy is the misogynistic so-and-so.
Yep.
That those comments about shutting her up while she's in his presence.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it was quite mildly amusing.
Yeah. And good because then you get to see him have his comeuppance.
Exactly.
And that's not an appropriate thing to think. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
There were various other people in this. Like I say, Swamp Thing was in it. Batman is probably the other big one worth mentioning because it is about Batman going and forming this new league. I enjoyed that Batman was largely silent and just letting them get on with stuff because this was not his world. And he seemed to be like, okay, you know what you're doing and I have no help here, so I'm just going to hang back. And then when he could help, he did a thing. But they did the stereotypical Batman portrayal of, oh, I don't believe in this mystical stuff. I'm just going to get on with it. Which I think they could have done in Arrow and they didn't do with Green Arrow. And I think it came off well that he bought into the magic thing. And they did it here and it was, okay, no, but your own eyes, like aliens and, you know, the Green Lantern. And you must believe in things that are difficult to explain now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, saying I don't believe in magic, but I do believe in babies that come across the universe in tiny spaceships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard to actually buy into anyone in the Justice League not buying into anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And being so close-minded if they're supposed to be our heroes who strive for truth and justice in the American way. Yeah.
It has whetted my appetite for the Constantine animated series.
Yeah, so we'll need to try and seek out Constantine City of Demons.
Mm.
Yeah. I enjoyed the house.
Yeah.
House of Mystery? Yeah.
Mystery.
That it came and went and moved around and so on. Felt absolutely appropriate.
Absolutely. I find it baffling that he wouldn't have a movable mystical house in the TV series apart from budget.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, basically like Hell's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Yeah, it worked really well. And I like the way it was used. And I like that even within the house, he then had a thing about you can't steal stuff from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, it makes it feel like a continual universe that people live in. And
yes.
Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. I liked the friendly demon.
Etrigan. So yeah, that's probably the last one to mention of the grouping, isn't it? Blood and Etrigan, who say rhymes to turn into each other.
Yes, it was
Did you
cute.
like it for the rhyming?
I thought it was very cute. I must admit, it was a little bit jarring how cute and endearing it was in the context of the rest of the dark animated film.
Yeah.
But for all that it made me smile. What I didn't get was I thought demons were supposed to be bad and evil, but Etrigan seems to be fairly non-bad, so how can he actually be a demon?
Reasons? I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because he's always in someone else's service. He knows he can't do the things. Yeah, I quite liked that it brought that little bit of levity to it, better than the dead man guy just making jokes at things.
Yes.
That it was just a sort of more humorous character.
Yeah.
A bit like Shazam often is in these things.
Yeah.
Shazam is portrayed in the same way. He is basically Superman, but with a very childish attitude, because he's a child.
Yes.
I'm
really looking forward to seeing that.
I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. So it feels a better way to do this sort of humour, and it works better with magic, because it's power that you don't necessarily earn. Everyone else trains and gets strong and gets powerful or reads things, and magic is in some ways something you can be bestowed.
Yes.
So they can use it in silly ways. He is just a very powerful demon and doesn't feel threatened by anyone. So why would he not be a bit silly?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, I'll buy that. I likes it.
So that's Justice League Dark. That's the next animated film. And I quite liked it with the Constantine tie-in. I think he's a very good Constantine.
He really is.
Even like down to the swearing on someone else that could come off as a bit forced, but it just feels part of his natural language. Yeah, it comes across really well. And like you say, it worked well here because they didn't have the budget restraints.
Yes.
In the same way.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. So next, I don't think we have anything listed. We could try some of the older series, but I think now we're in September, we're getting towards the point of we'll watch some of the trailers maybe.
Yeah.
Have a chat about what we're looking forward to in the coming seasons.
Yep, definitely.
Of all the Arrowverse shows.
I think it'd be good also to review where we left everyone at the end of the last season.
Yeah, perhaps that's our catch up in October.
Yeah.
But perhaps we'll have a look at some of the insider stuff that we've seen about who's staying, who's going, and the new shows that are starting.
Awesome.
Great. So that wraps us up for another week. If you have thoughts, questions, or comments, you can use the hashtag ATAV on Twitter, or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Eloquent Gushing. If you want to help support us, please check out our Patreon page where you can get access to exclusive content across all our shows. Go to patreon.com/eloquentgushing. And don't forget to visit the homepage, eloquentgushing.com, where you can find the other shows across the network and subscribe to our weekly newsletter with all the goings on. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you across the Arrowverse.
Across the Arrowverse is an Eloquent Gushing production. For more shows you'll love, please visit eloquentgushing.com.